the speaking module is like, and we are going to talk about the bands. So how, like we discussed the entire bands for writing module, we are going to also discuss this so that you know exactly how and what to speak. So shall we start? So speaking test, what is the speaking test like? The speaking test or the interview goes on for around 11 to 14 minutes. So maximum around 15 minutes. So there would be a few people who may say that no, it went on to 17 minutes or so. Maybe because you might be speaking more and the interviewer is allowing you to speak more. Only in that case, it can go beyond 15 minutes, but it won't be even like 20 minutes. So generally it would be of 11 to 14 minutes, or I would say 15 minutes overall. And it's a formal test where a trained examiner takes individual test and the test is also recorded. So when you go to the interview room, there will be, it can be a small room, it can be a large room. The infrastructure can vary depending upon the city that you are in and the examination body that you have taken the test with. Now there would be one examiner sitting right, so there would be a desk, an examiner sitting right in front of you. It would be a formal interview situation. Now, considering the COVID situations, like even one of the students have mentioned, and even last time I think Muzaffar had shared with us that you will be supposed to wear a mask. So you will be wearing a mask and giving the entire speaking test. So that can be a little uncomfortable for a few of you, but that is mandatory. And you're not allowed to take anything with you, so everything is provided by the the center. Maybe a pen or so is what you will be allowed to take, and your passport. So once you enter the examination, so okay, I'll come to that, but let's understand more on it and then I'll come to the rest of the things. So there are three parts to the speaking test: part 1, part 2, and part 3. I think most of you all are aware of it, and all those who had attended the introductory class that I had conducted long back, then I had mentioned all the parts, that there are three parts on the speaking test and the parameters also. But today we'll discuss the parameters more in detail. So part 1. As you enter the examination center, basically it's like, having certain etiquettes, manners. So when you enter, you should be definitely knocking the door, asking for permission that should I come in. Yes, Kasif, you should be speaking louder so that it is quite audible, because there's a recorder and it records it. So they will ask you to be a little louder so that the recorder can record you properly and accurately. So part 1, you answer questions about yourself, family, home. So this is considered to be a rapport building part. The first part is a rapport building part, wherein they may ask you questions on your family, yourself, home, work, study, your interest, and other such familiar topics. So basically, you should be aware of everything around you. So it can be anything. It can be about your parents. It can be about yourself. It can be about your siblings. It can be about your family, whether you live in a joint family or nuclear family, or it can be about your home, the kind of a home that you live in. Do you live in an apartment or a tenement or a bungalow, or it may be about your city, your country, your work. If you are a student, they may ask you about your studies. If you are a professional, they may ask you about your work, your interests, and other such familiar topics. So interests, so basically anything that interests you. It can be anything from the movies that you watch, the music that you listen, the hobbies that you have, and it can be about the color that you like, and all such topics. So I'll definitely give you a brief on those topics as well. Now this part continues approximately for 4 to 5 minutes. So there will be around 4 to 5 questions that they'll ask you in this task. So it can be a theme based also. Like if they're asking you about, it's the same. Apartment and flat is the same thing. So they may be asking you about, like, say, so let's say if they're asking you about your neighborhood, they may also ask you about your neighborhood. So what kind of neighborhood do you live in? So you can say that I live in a society, and what kind of people live around you. So there will be 4 to 5 questions based on only neighborhood. And sometimes they may ask you cross questions just to understand you, but then that's okay. I'll come to that again. Yes, Shakti is here and he can give us our inputs because he just appeared for the test yesterday. Might want to wear a tight mask, or else it will keep coming down while speaking, and the examiner will keep signaling you to pull up the mask. So please keep this in mind, that you have a better mask, better fitting mask while you appear for the speaking test. And okay, Shakti, just a minute. Let me finish this slide and then you can share your experience with us. Okay, so part 2, which is cue card, or also known as the long turn of speaking. Here you get a particular topic. So this is what people say, that yes, you get a topic, you get a topic, you get a topic. So speaking is not just about the topic, but it is about all the 3 parts. But yes, topic is considered to be the most important, for the reason is that it is an individual and independent task. Nobody is going to ask you a question. You are given a topic wherein you are going to speak. So here you get a particular topic. The instructions to guide your talk are written on a card given to you by the examiner. So you'll be getting a card in which they will be mentioning sub questions. So those sub questions are already there. So let's say describe a music concert that you attended. So there will be sub questions: where it was, when it was, with whom did you attend, how did you feel about it. So these are certain sub questions. So you are allowed a minute. Okay, a minute's time to prepare for the topic. There's an error. You are allowed a minute's time to prepare for the topic, and then you should speak on the topic for 1 to 2 minutes, it says, but basically you need to speak for 2 minutes. Okay, so 2 minutes, 1 to 2 minutes, but minimum 1 minute is what they say. But I would rather say, don't even think of 1 minute. I would rather say, try putting your like the entire topic into 2 minutes, at least 2 minutes. And the third part is on the basis of your reply to the cue card. Okay, so the third part is also known as the discussion round, and it is also known as follow-up. So in this, on the basis of your reply to the cue card, the examiner generates a discussion based on themes related to the cue card. That means, like we talked about, the topic that I just mentioned was describe a music concert that you attended. So the keyword here is music concert or music. So your questions, your discussion questions or your follow-up questions will be based on the music. So these questions are basically like the past, present, and future. So on music, they may ask you questions from the past. Like, for example, what kind of music was popular during your grandparents' time, or maybe 20 years from uh, before now. So you need to know that what kind of music. Even if you don't know, you just have to speak about it. Maybe you can give a tentative answer. There is no need of giving the exact correct answer, because in speaking there can be no correct answer, because everyone can have a different perspective. So that is what so it can be about the past. Then what kind of music is popular these days, or what kind of music do people of your age prefer nowadays. So it's about the present. And then there can be questions based on the future. So what do you think? Do you think that the trend will change in the next 10 years? Okay, so basically it is past, present, and future, and these questions are already there with the examiner. So when they give you the topic, they already have this data, the set of questions, and they are going to ask you from those set of questions only. So this is called the discussion or the abstract idea.